travel trends released at the beginning of 2020, like many things, have changed in a big way. So what are people doing if they aren't taking those big vacation trips?
Well, join us this morning is the editor of Travel and Style magazine, Jennifer Weatherhead Harrington, to let us know what the new trends in travel look like these days. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. They definitely look a little different than we thought they would in January, that's for sure.
But the good thing is there are still options for people, right?
Yeah, there really are. And I think the main thing is, at the beginning of 2020, we were talking about large scale travel and going to far flung destinations and those types of travel trends. And this one right now, it's going to be a little bit different. And we're thinking a lot more locally. So one of the first trends I wanted to talk about was small travel. And what I mean by that is just going an hour or two outside of your main hometown, your main city, exploring a side city or a sister city. It can be a day trip. It can be one night. You're supporting local businesses that way, and you're still getting a chance to explore and see something new that perhaps you hadn't looked at before.
Here in Michigan, there are so many places I haven't been.
It's amazing to how much you can do just in the state of Michigan. But for those who don't even want to leave the house, some people just want to stay close to home. Staycations can kind of get upgraded, right?
Yeah. So I would say staycations is definitely a huge trend that we're going to see for the rest of this year and into early next year. But what you want to do is you're staying in your own city. Think about it this way, like you would have spent tons of money maybe to go to a far off destination or a sunny destination, something like that. Think about splurging a little bit on your staycation, upgrade that hotel room, treat yourself out to a really fancy dinner. It can feel a bit more like an actual escape and like you're really on vacation if you do those tiny little things to like splurge and treat yourself a bit more.
I love that. This is great. How about you live and work somewhere really fancy, right? Or live and work abroad somewhere, right?
Yeah, so there are a few different countries right now that are offering this up, and it's a way to entice people to come and not only visit them, but stay long term. So 6 months to a year, places like Bermuda, Barbados, lots of tropical islands. You could have the beach as your backyard while you're working on your laptop. So if you have a flexible job and you can work remotely, this might be a good option for you. I would just double check everything to make sure that, you are covered if an incident were to happen, if a lockdown were to happen on that island, can you get out, that kind of thing. Double check all that fine print. And you also do need to find your own accommodation, so keep that in mind too.
Okay.
Todd, do you want to talk to the bosses after the show, see what we can do? I think if we're both on board for this.
Give me a hammock and a beach.
Exactly, yeah.
When it comes, though, to people who are actually traveling in the United States, I mean, I know the RV industry is smiling these days because a lot of people are buying those. Let's talk about where people are going in the States and the road trips they're taking.
Yeah, so a recent study found out that 94% of North Americans say that they're less stressed and happier after they do a road trip. So that's amazing. And it's no wonder we're seeing such a huge uptick on that. And the United States has so much to offer in terms of what you can see and where you can go. It's kind of a country that has a bit of everything. So you don't have to go too far. Even within Michigan, you can see tons of great destinations and all different types of things. So it's really picking up, and I can see that happening throughout well into 2021. It's going to be something that's going to be a really fun way to kind of explore your own backyard. Again, spending locally, keeping US dollars in the US, which is also really important to people. And I think it's just going to be a really great way for everyone to kind of get to know their own country a little bit more.
Absolutely. Hey, one of those places you mentioned in Michigan, I've been to, a dark sky park. We have all this great shoreline next to the lake that doesn't have that light pollution. So stargazing's really taken off too.
Yeah, so, it's RVs have been selling out and telescopes have been selling out. And I recently talked to someone who's very into astrology, and stargazing has totally picked up because everyone is spending more time outside. They want to explore nature a little bit more. Michigan is great for this because, yes, the Great Lakes do provide a lot of dark sky. So you don't have to go that far outside of a city to start to see things like the Milky Way, which you can actually see with just binoculars. You don't need a full telescope for that. And also in September and October, there are going to be some really great opportunities to see Mars and Jupiter and Saturn at their brightest points. So you can get a hold of a telescope. Great time to kind of peek in on those planets, but you will be able to see some of those planets with the naked eye as well and with some binoculars. But I mean, what's better than just kind of taking a cool fall evening and being out underneath the stars and kind of seeing in wonder of how beautiful our planet is.
I totally agree.
Yep, bring the kids along too. Hey, the new 2020 travel trends. Jennifer Weatherhead Harrington, thank you so much for all that great information. You can follow Jen on Instagram, all the address right there on your screen at Jennifer Weatherhead or at Travel Style Magazine.